TheStokeFam, it's Tiffany, and today I am going to walk you through how we use Roadtrippers to help plan our family adventures and make things just a little bit easier. Stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm going to share a promo code with you. This video was not sponsored by Roadtrippers, however, they did sponsor a blog post over on our blog, and that is linked in the description. All right, let's get started. You're going to head to roadtrippers.com, and you are going to go ahead and start here on the homepage and enter your starting point and your destination. And today we're going to work on planning an Oregon coast road trip. So we're going to start in Astoria, and we'll just look up Astoria, Oregon. We'll put that as our starting destination. And our final destination, we may change this as we look at the map a little bit more, but this is one that actually we'd like to do again this summer, so I'm working on this one. Pacific City is going to be our ending point at the moment. As I said, we may tweak that a little bit as we go along in our planning. And we're going to click the yellow Plan Trip button, and that is going to load that map for us, and it will zoom into the area that we are going to talk about. So it kind of zooms right in for you automatically, and you start to see right away lots of things popping up on the map. So these are popular attractions, accommodations, restaurants, recreation, points of interest, camping, all sorts of things. So we're going to kind of hone in on those locations that we definitely want to add to our itinerary, and we'll go from there. So right off the bat, I see this featured destination hanging out here at Haystack Rock. We love Haystack Rock, and we definitely think if you're doing a Northern Oregon coast trip, you cannot leave this out. So I would definitely go ahead and add this to your itinerary. So if you would like to learn more about Haystack Rock, you actually can click on the destination, and it will load for you an overview. It will give you reviews. You'll see a bunch of images that are available here. You can actually add your own images and reviews after the fact. So you can kind of check that out a little bit if you want to. And then when you're done deciding if you want to actually add it to your trip, you can go back to the map, or you can just click this little button here that says Add to Trip. You can also save it for later, which I have clearly saved this one because it's one of our favorites. But you can just click the Add to Trip button, and then when you go back to the map, like magic, it is already there, and it is there ready for you in the location in which it makes the most sense on your drive time. So let me give you another example that's maybe outside of our normal path here a little bit and show you what would happen. So let's say that we decided we wanted to visit Barth Falls up here. So I want to add this one to our trip. It's going to recalculate and say, hey, you might actually want to make that your first stop because of the way the roads flow. You can certainly go ahead and change those over here in your itinerary, but let's say we wanted to do Barth Falls, and I said, you know what, no, I want to start at Barth Falls. It's going to tell me my time frame depending on how I do this. So up here right now you can see that I have 2 hours and 47 minutes on my timeline. If I move Barth Falls to the beginning and I swap that out and it's our starting point, you can see that changes to 2 hours and 32 minutes. But let's say in this scenario that our hotel is in Astoria, so that's totally not going to work. We're definitely going to have to do Barth Falls as a destination on its own, or we decide, you know what, I would rather stick straight to the coast, and so I actually want to take this off. So I have two options when I want to take this off of the map. I can come over here and I can choose to remove from route, and I can just toggle that off or back on, or I can click these 3 dots that over the image area. Some places have limited images, some don't. And I can just click to remove that waypoint. So it just says remove waypoint, you say remove, and like magic, it reroutes for you based upon your prior destination. So let's go ahead and add a few more places so you can kind of see how that works, or how the rest of the trip planning would go. So I'm going to add another destination we really like, which is Oswald West State Park. So I'm going to add that one to our trip. I'm going to go ahead and say we definitely want to visit the Tillamook Creamery while we are on this. I'm going to hope that the precautions allow and we feel safe to do so. So I'm going to add that to our trip. And then I'm also going to zoom in just a little bit. I know that we loved visiting Cape Mears, so I'm going to add that one to the trip. I think it would be a great destination to visit. Cape Lookout is an amazing place, and this is all maybe a little ambitious for 2 days, but a lot of the times if we can get a 3-day weekend, we can totally make this work. And so then I think that I'm going to stick with Pacific City and Cape Kiwanda as our final destination. So I'm going to kind of leave this. I'm pretty happy with it. But I do know that there's this incredible waterfall over here that I would like to add to our trip. And I think I'm going to do it, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to add it to our trip, and I'm going to say we're going to do this one if we have time. So because I know that it's a little out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and toggle this off, but I'm going to leave it on my route. That way, on our weekend away, if we are able to make that one work for time, we can do it. And if not, then I'll just leave it off, and I can just toggle that on and off as needed. So that is the basics of how I plan a trip with Roadtrippers, but there are a few other features that I would like to highlight for you. So once you've got your trip planned and you've got it outlined, let's say you're going to take this trip or vacation with friends or family. You can choose this little button here where it says invite friends to plan this trip with you. You can actually enter an email to invite them to collaborate with you to make changes. You'll both see when each other updates things, and it just really makes it so that you can plan together, and it makes it easier to make changes and collaborate together, which is pretty cool. In that screen or under the 3 dots here and the trip settings, you actually have a couple other options. So let's go into the trip settings here, and you can actually change your vehicle settings in order to help you calculate your fuel costs. This I think is so cool. So I could say we're going to take our Ford or we're going to take our Crosstrek, and I can figure out which one of those is actually going to be the most beneficial for us. So we can choose I've set these vehicles up prior, and so I can go ahead and choose the Crosstrek, and I can say if we take the Crosstrek, our gas cost is going to be about $10 for this particular trip leg. If I go ahead back into the trip settings and I go to vehicle and fuel and I change this to the Ford, I know that it's going to cost us a little bit of extra. The other thing that is really cool here under these 3 little dots is you can go ahead and you can immediately make this round trip. So you can just say, hey, you know what? We know we're going to have to go back, so I'm going to make this round trip. Or you can actually reverse the trip, and you can say, I want to reverse it completely, and you just start your destination in the opposite direction. So you can say, you know what, we're actually going to start at Pacific City instead of at Astoria. And then if you have any extras, so because I made this round trip, now it has Astoria at the beginning too, but I would like to just take that off because we're not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to leave this as a single direction. But that is how you can kind of toggle things on and off. So now that we have our overall trip planned, I wanted to show you a few other features that are available that make things just a little bit nicer. So let's say that you have gone through this and you're like, man, there's been a lot of places, a lot of restaurants, a lot of extra destinations that I would love to consider adding, but I don't really want to add every restaurant that's a possibility, right? Because that's a lot to then toggle on and off. But I want to know, like, hey, these might be places I want to come back and visit later. So I've added a few ahead of time, but I would just want to show you how you would do this. So on your map, you can kind of zoom in, or you can go to the accommodations and have it just search for those if you know that's what you're looking for. But let's go back to our overview of our trip, and I have kind of zoomed in here, and I just know I've added a few, but let's say I want to add a couple more options for some food. So I'm going to look and I'm going to say, I know this Manzanita cones and coffee sounds like something that everybody could get behind, so I'm going to make sure I add that one to my favorites. Let's see what this is. A beach house, maybe not. Let's see. Let's look around just a little bit more. What else is here? A sand dune pub, a grocery and deli, a siesta or left coast siesta. All right, sure, I'll bite. So I'll put those destinations in as favorites and save places. That way when I'm on the map and I'm zoomed into this, I can be like, oh yeah, so I already marked some of our favorite restaurants in the area. Where do you guys want to go? And I can run through and I can list these. Or I can say, go over to the saved places within the navigation, and I can say, hey guys, in this area, I had like 4 places. I had a Thai place, this place called Left Coast Siesta, Or if we only need a little snack, maybe it's the coffee shop or the cones and coffee. So there's a few different ways that you can do that to help you really optimize your trip planning. The other features that I wanted to show you are mostly on the app. So I'm going to swap over to that now for you so that you can see how that works. Okay, so when you're finally ready to take your trip, you're going to go ahead and open the Roadtrippers app. And within the Roadtrippers app, you're going to tap the bottom right corner where it says Profile. Once you have tapped that profile, it's going to pull up a screen that looks like this. You're going to have at the top a section that says Trips, Places, Maps, which is where you can download offline maps for use. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then Reviews. This will be the reviews that you've contributed, and you can add that information in there. It's got your ratings and anything that you, any images that you have contributed, you can see those things here. So this Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, for instance, that was an image that we took, and so I've contributed that there, and there's a few more in there as well. And then you're going to go back to your trips, though, for this instance, and we're going to go ahead and click on the Pacific City trip. So when you open the Pacific City trip, you will see all the destinations that we have added here. And we have, remember that Munson Creek Falls, I had actually just briefly toggled it back on. So you can toggle it on or off if you're going to be able to make that. So just don't forget to make any final changes to your itinerary on the day of travel. And then you can tap the button at the bottom that says to load trip on map. So it's going to go ahead and pull up your map with all of your destinations. And once you're ready to do that, you can navigate. Once you're ready, you can navigate to the first destination in your trip. So for us, that would be to go to the Cape Lookout State Park. So when you're ready to do that, because we're already in our theoretical option here, we are already in Pacific City, and we're ready to go to destination number 1, which is Cape Lookout State Park. So you would tap on it at the bottom of the screen, tap the navigate button, and it will load that map up for you, where you can go ahead and see where your route is. Obviously, we are not in Pacific City at the moment, so it's not going to route us the correct way, but that's how you would do that. And then you tap the green go button to continue your trip. Once you're done with one destination, you just move to the next destination along the bottom screen, or you can tap on the numbers up on the map itself to go to the next one. And then you would just tap, just like we just did, to go to the next destination. After you're done, you can pop into the destination itself to add any reviews that you would like to and to give it a rating. And that is how you're going to navigate your trip. The one thing I did tell you I would also come back and show you is on the Maps destination, you can download maps for offline use. So for instance, if you're going to be traveling somewhere that you know that the cell phone signal is not going to be that spectacular. For instance, for us, upcoming before too long, we hope to do Crater Lake. So I will go ahead and download that map, and you're going to just tap on it and say, okay, and it's going to go ahead and download that map to your device. That way it can help you navigate when you don't have cell phone signal, which is really, really helpful, especially in places like national parks where it's definitely pretty sparse. Okay, so fam, that's pretty much it. That is how we use Roadtrippers to help us plan our family adventures and travels. It really helps that it's all in one app, and I can plan our wish list vacations, our actual vacations, and all of it all in one in various stages of planning. And it's really easy when we're navigating. I can literally just hit the next location and it routes for us. So it's just so much easier than trying to look at a map and not missing something, especially even in those offline areas. So we really love it. And that is why I had reached out to them about doing a sponsored post on our blog. I wanted to actually add this video, though they did not ask us to do this. I wanted to add this video because I felt like it would be really helpful for you guys. So that's why this video is here, because it's a step-by-step visual. I know that's more helpful to some people. And I also wanted to offer the discount code to you guys who have watched the video that I offer over on our blog. So if you do decide to use Roadtrippers and upgrade to the Plus plan, use code STOKEFAM, STOKEFAM, all caps, and it'll get you $5 off of the Plus plan. I'll make sure that's in the description as well as a link to the blog post so that you can read more and see that if you have further questions. And last but not least, if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know in the comments or find us over on Instagram at TheStokeFam. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.